The 2012 Delhi gang rape and murder case involved a rape and fatal assault that occurred on the 16th of December 2012 in Munirka, a neighborhood in South Delhi. The incident took place when a 23-year-old female physiotherapy intern was beaten, gang raped, and tortured in a private bus in which she was traveling with her male friend. There were 6 others in the bus, including the driver, all of whom raped the woman and beat her friend. 11 days after the assault, she was transferred to a hospital in Singapore for emergency treatment but died 2 days later. The incident generated widespread national and international coverage and was widely condemned, both in India and abroad. Subsequently, public protests against the state and central governments for failing to provide adequate security for women took place in New Delhi, where thousands of protesters clashed with security forces. Similar protests took place in major cities throughout the country. Since Indian law does not allow the press to publish a rape victim's name, the victim was widely known as Nirbhaya, meaning fearless, and her struggle and death became a symbol of women's resistance to rape around the world. All the accused were arrested and charged with sexual assault and murder. One of the accused, Ram Singh, died in police custody from possible suicide on the 11th of March 2013 in the Tihar jail. According to some published reports, the police say Ram Singh hanged himself, but defense lawyers and his family allege he was murdered. The rest of the accused went on trial in a fast-track court. The prosecution finished presenting its evidence on the 8th of July 2013. The juvenile was convicted of rape and murder and given the maximum sentence of 3 years imprisonment in a reform facility, as per the Juvenile Justice Act. On the 10th of September 2013, the 4 remaining adult defendants were found guilty of rape and murder and 3 days later were sentenced to death by hanging. In the death reference case and hearing appeals on the 13th of March 2014, Delhi High Court upheld the guilty verdict and the death sentences. On the 18th of December 2019, the Supreme Court of India rejected the final appeals of the condemned perpetrators of the attack. On the 7th of January 2020, a judge in New Delhi issued death warrants for the 4 men, scheduling their executions for 7 a.m. on the 3rd of March 2020. The authorities alleged that the 4 adult convicts were intentionally delaying and frustrating the legal process in this case by filing their pleas in stages, so that their execution could be postponed. On the 17th of January 2020, after the convicts exhausted their mercy pleas, a Delhi court issued a second death warrant for the convicts to be hanged on the 1st of February 2020 at 6 a.m. The 4 adult convicts were hanged on the 20th of March 2020 at 5:30 a.m. At Tihar jail, and were declared dead after 30 minutes. As a result of the protests, in December 2012, a judicial committee was set up to study and take public suggestions for the best ways to amend laws to provide quicker investigation and prosecution of sex offenders. After considering about 80,000 suggestions, the committee submitted a report which indicated that failures on the part of the government and police were the root cause behind crimes against women. In 2013, the Criminal Law Amendment Ordinance 2013 was promulgated by President Pranab Mukherjee. Several new laws were passed, and 6 new fast-track courts were created to hear rape cases. Critics argue that the legal system remains slow to hear and prosecute rape cases, but most agree that the case has resulted in a tremendous increase in the public discussion of crimes against women, and statistics show that there has been an increase in the number of women willing to file a crime report. However, in December 2014, the second anniversary of the attack, the victim's father called the promises of reform unmet and said that he felt regret in that he had not been able to bring justice for his daughter and other women like her. A BBC documentary titled India's Daughter based on the attack was broadcast in the UK on the 4th of March 2015. Indian-Canadian filmmaker Deepa Mehta's 2016 film Anatomy of Violence was also based on the incident, exploring the social conditions and values in Indian society that made it possible. The Netflix original 2019 TV series Delhi Crime is based on the Delhi police's search for the culprits of this case. Incident. The victims, a 23-year-old woman, Jyoti Singh, and her male friend, were returning home on the night of the 16th of December 2012 after watching the film Life of Pi in Saket, South Delhi. They boarded the bus at Munirka for Dwarka at about 9:30 p.m. East. There were only 6 others on the bus, including the driver. One of the men, identified as Minor, had called for passengers telling him that the bus was going towards the destination. Her friend became suspicious when the bus deviated from its normal route and its doors were shut. When he objected, the group of 6 men already on board, including the driver, taunted the couple, asking what they were doing alone at such a late hour. During the argument, a scuffle ensued between her friend and the group of men. He was beaten, gagged and knocked unconscious with an iron rod. The men then dragged Jyoti to the rear of the bus, beating her with the rod and raping her while the bus driver continued to drive. A medical report later said that she suffered serious injuries to her abdomen, intestines and genitals due to the assault, and doctors said that the damage indicated that a blunt object suspected to be the iron rod may have been used for penetration. That rod was later described by police as being a rusted, L-shaped implement of the type used as a wheel jack handle. According to police reports, Jyoti attempted to fight off her assailants, biting 3 of the attackers and leaving bite marks on the accused men. After the beatings and rape ended, the attackers threw both victims from the moving bus. One of the perpetrators later cleaned the vehicle to remove evidence. Police impounded it the next day. The partially clothed victims were found on the road by a passerby at around 11 p.m. The passerby called the Delhi police, who took the couple to Safdarjung Hospital, where Jyoti was given emergency treatment and placed on mechanical ventilation. She was found with injury marks, including numerous bite marks, all over her body. According to reports, one of the accused men admitted to having seen a rope-like object, assumed to be her intestines, being pulled out of the woman by the other assailants on the bus. 2 blood-stained metal rods were retrieved from the bus, and medical staff confirmed that it was penetration by this that caused massive damage to her genitals, uterus and intestines. See you again in part of this video.